Welcome back. You're watching Canadian Innovators. Joining me today is CEO of Durafilm and social media influencer, Mario Zelaya. Mario, let's dive right into the topic at hand. It's been a hot topic in the media, TV, radio, and at the water cooler. You could not miss the so-called Coldplay CEO. Let's take a look at the video and we'll get your thoughts on the other side.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Mario, you had some outspoken words on CEOs behaving badly on your social media platform. Talk to us about your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so my whole perspective on this is, and this is, I think, a general consensus among the business community is when you get married, you've presumably fallen in love with this person. You've, said your vows. You have a family. You have children. That is someone you love. That is someone that you are completely in love with, and you're going to start this permanent, presumably a permanent partnership. And so when a CEO is willing to do that to someone that they love, what are they willing to do to their shareholders who they don't love? What are they willing to do to the company that they're running that they don't have that same level of love with? And I've encountered this in the past before, where when I sold my first company, I was looking for a replacement CEO when I was a part of the private equity firm. And, we had found someone who was stellar, like really well known in the industry, probably overqualified, and even more so maybe than myself. Numerous awards, an unbelievable candidate, probably an A plus plus. I found out that they had cheated on their wife who had cancer. And so, well, as soon as I heard that, because we were all excited at the private equity firm, I called the CEO of the private equity firm and I said, man, we can't hire this guy. Like, imagine what he would do to us if he's willing to do this to his wife. And so I've always been of that mindset. And the CEO agreed with me. He said, I will do whatever you think is best. And everything you're saying makes complete sense. And I think any rational person who puts themselves in that position and in that mindset would probably agree. It's very difficult to kind of argue against that.
Yeah, Mario, tell us why this kind of behavior is so problematic for both the shareholders and the board of directors when this sort of thing happens.
Well, I think the big part of it is, how do we know they're not also going to commit fraud? How do we also know that they're not willing to, overlook certain issues? How do we know they're not playing favoritism? Like, this is the type of stuff that starts at the top that can create a toxic culture and a toxic workplace. But not only that, he's in a position of power. Like, he is the CEO of the company, and a subordinate who reports directly into him. And maybe if there is one layer in between him and the person who he's having an affair with, it doesn't matter. It's still subordinate. You still have this level of power over this person. And once you have that power dynamic come into play, for someone to basically do that to an employee, I think it tells a bigger story. And I truly think that that's something that any CEO, any board member, any sort of shareholder would be deeply concerned. And no one wants this negative publicity too. And that's the problem of what happened. If I could estimate, I would say the amount of views that this generated is probably close to the half a billion views at minimum, because this has been reshared and reshared. Now there's memes about this whole thing. And now the kiss cam, which was, used to be a beautiful thing where two people would kind of get together and kiss, is now where you hide. And it's a big joke now where, I'm cheating on my wife, and it's all become a big gag, and it all ties back to the company Astronomer. And so what does that do to the brand itself? People will always remember him associated with that brand, and that creates just a nightmare of scenarios from a marketing perspective, from a positioning a standpoint, and just even from a negative publicity standpoint. There's no positive outcome that could possibly come from anything like this.
Yeah, it talks to integrity. Absolutely. Mario, what advice, and we just got about 30 seconds, would you have for senior leaders on this topic?
Well, I think here's the reality of it. If you're married for a reason, and you need to stick with your vows. You need to stick with the person that you made those vows with. If there's any sort of temptation, in some way, in any way, shape, or form, it needs to be completely removed from the equation, and you need to remove yourself from it. But it should never even get to that point. And that's, I think, the key is you need to keep your hands, your minds, and your body and soul clean.
We're going to go to break. Don't go away. You're watching Canadian Innovators.